Hey everybody, this review video is from healthhacksreview.com. My name is Alex. It's on a whole body vibration machine called Gravity Revolution. And this comes out of New Zealand. And it's a machine that is newer to the market. And so I'm happy to kind of tell people about it and spread some brand recognition. So if you remember, Hypervibe also started out of that general area, Australia, New Zealand. And actually, since I do know a couple people that know, the people that are working really on the R&D level of building this brand, and I've gotten a lot of good information from that. I do know that they worked very intensively, put a lot of money and a lot of time, a lot of years, in basically this machine, looking very closely at Hypervibe, looking very closely at Gallileo, learning from these guys, learning a lot, and basically trying to replicate the type of mechanisms in there that are able to produce high gforce machines but keep it at a lower price point, along with higher speeds and also higher amplitude, okay, and still have the longevity factor as well. So in fact, they actually, it seems that they've worked similarly with some of the engineers to get some of this information to some of these other companies. And so with this machine, we have something that goes up to 35 hertz, which is it's about, for a pivotal, by the way, it's a pivotal machine, about as high as you need to go. It's definitely as high as Galileo, as high as the new G17 Hypervibe. The really nice thing about this machine is 65-inch plate. The plate's really, really large, and that larger plate is really necessary, really almost, for especially if you have a 13mm amplitude, by the way, at that hertz frequency, which is impressive. When you have something like that, and you want to do a variety of exercises on it, and you also want to have enough stability, you really need a bigger plate size. And so that can be one challenge with the Hypervibe, is their plates generally are much smaller. They do have some power behind them, but their plates are a little bit smaller. So this has one of the larger, for all the pivotals, one of the largest, I should say, plates to it. And especially, again, if you have 13mm of amplitude with that power behind it, you definitely want a bigger plate. And you want to, and part of that is, obviously, most people are not going to be maxing it out, staying all the way on the edges of the plate where you get the most get the most magnitude off the plate. But at least allows for literally a wide variety of stances. So somebody who can't really handle a lot of amplitude, a lot of magnitude, they can stand right on the center a little bit more, and it cuts away in half. Maybe 5mm, 6mm of amplitude right in the center, and that's much easier to maintain, and then you slowly widen your stance as the person trains. Also use a very robust, not plastic, frame to it, to the base. And so this machine, when I was testing it, the actual extraneous vibration going to the tower and stuff is almost non-existent. Another thing that is very like a telltale sign, so if a machine is sending, if you have it maxed out on its settings while you're standing on it and while you're not standing on it, and also while you tilt the machine back, you do all these different tests that you see eventually on videos, and that will be uploading. Basically, if you see a lot of extraneous vibration going into the tower and the frame, you know that you have something that the engineering is just not quite there. They're pushing the machine to performance specs. Not this company, but hypothetically, a company is pushing the machine to specs that it's not quite engineered to handle. It's really a challenge, basically, to have such power and movement and vibration without and tuning in such a way so it doesn't shake the whole machine itself. And so they've definitely done that here. The machine also handles one of the highest weight classes, 200 kilograms, 300 over 300 pounds. It's a very, very strong machine. It's another thing you look for too. If you have a lot of performance and you have something that can handle a lot of weight, that's also usually a telltale sign. Keep in mind that most companies are going to invest a lot of money and a lot of research and then put a wrong weight specification on there that's too high just to impress people, because ultimately they just shoot themselves in the foot. It's just a bad idea, because then you have people that are having their machines break all the time or wearing out in a few months, and suddenly, eventually after a few years, they're not selling a lot of machines. So if you see a lot of weight that's paired with a weight max paired with a lot of g-force and frequency, and you know a little bit more about, of course, on the back end, a little bit more about the company, then you can usually infer that it's the real deal. I've also validated some of these specifications on the machine, found them to be accurate, which is of course an important thing. But I know a lot about what they were doing with engineering and how hard they had to work and for how long to actually bring this forward. So it's the real deal. It's now in that category of tier 1 brands that are affordable within the normal residential user price budget range, but in actual very high g-force machines that falls into the therapeutic efficacy range of the right type of speed potential and g-force potential, acceleration force, to get you the types of results that we hear in and we see in all those studies that were done with vibration machines. Price point, they could have priced it at $35.99, which they do. Some people do sell that for that, and that's paired now where HyperVibe's G17 decided to match their price point with that 35. And at the same time, there's some people selling it, well, actually very few people selling it in this country for less. I can get it for less, maybe like 400, 500 less. And again, there's very few people representing the brand right now, and partially they're doing that just to control who's representing it, because it is a fantastic machine. And you really want to pay attention that it's being represented properly, but also because it is a very powerful machine, you really want to make sure that it's appropriate for everybody and that they understand what type of machine that they're getting. For example, a person that's going to buy a $15,000 Gallileo machine, right? In general, they're going to do a little bit of homework, and they're going to take it kind of seriously because it's $15,000, right? You're not just going to buy unless you're super uber rich. You just use your credit card and you don't care. You got a machine, whatever. Most people are going to really be into the machine and learn about it and use it properly for that type of money, to be dropping that type of money. And usually, a lot of times, they're licensed health practitioners or somebody in the health profession. Okay, but here we have a machine that's now like $3,000 or somewhere around that range, but it has that power behind it, and some people are buying machines that are really low G-force, terrible machines for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 that are out there. You see what I'm saying? So this is not. It's very easy that people can misinterpret and say, oh, well, this machine is like this $3,000 machine over there, a $2,000 machine, when in fact, no, it's like a monster by comparison to some of these other ones out there. So it's important that people are educated and know what they're getting. You can't infer, as you know, quality based on a price point. So newer machine to the market, but just came out a few years ago. But they've been working with the right people, right engineers, and for a long enough time that they've been able to kind of get this out here. My guess is that we're not going to see too many other high-powered, high-performance machines like this in this price category, because most people don't want to invest that money and all that time that it takes. And in general, it's going to get harder and harder to compete when you have similar machines that have similar results. And that are priced similarly, that are high-performance machines. So anyways, if you have any more questions about this particular machine, I'd love to tell you more about it. It is definitely getting a 2 thumbs up from me, like a few of these other brands that I talk about. And they represent the 5% of Tier 1 whole-body vibration machines. This is also a very high-performance machine that might be too high performance for your average user, might be more power, more performance than you actually need. The other angle to this is, even if you're not going to use the full amount of power, right, and capabilities of potential, if you have a machine like that that's even well suited for commercial settings of heavy usage and heavier individuals, if you're just using it for yourself or your family, keep in mind that it's going to be very underutilized, which is a good thing from the standpoint of longevity, right? We have something that if it's the biggest thing that wears the machine out is standing on it, right, and just using it to have all the friction and movement. But if it's really being underutilized, then you didn't necessarily overspend or get something that you didn't necessarily need. You've just basically assured that it's going to last a little bit longer, or a heck of a lot longer, because you're never really, again, stressing this machine out at all with your minimal usage. So that's one way to look at this, and it's something that people forget very easily. They say, well, I don't need all that gforce potential. Maybe at some point down the road, if you condition yourself, you might, and that'd be great if you could use it to that level. But look at it like a good investment also. It's something that's going to hold up for a while. So anyways, thanks for watching. If you have any more questions about gravity revolution, give me a call. Thanks.